What is good, y'all? It's Ronald, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com. I got my guy YBB Sports Data with me today. I think it's probably going to be a short show today. YBB, we're going to do probably just cap one game, one MLB game live, and then kind of go over some NFL queries, SDQL queries, and we'll try to, I think we're going to try something new and do a query building exercise, if you want to call it, and see if we can put together a nice system today. So that's what I got on deck. I know we don't got no UFC this weekend either, so there's that part of it that's going to shorten the show today. But man, other than that, how's everything going? How are you doing any like college football or NFL at all?
So I have like models and systems and stuff like that I don't really pay attention to. You can't bet on every single model trigger or every single system trigger that you have
Exactly.
because that's just putting way too many bets out. Right now, I already feel like I have enough for NFL as it is. I need to
Yeah.
actually shorten my bets. Yeah, good afternoon to everybody except the Pittsburgh Steelers, by the way. I saw the trend that you posted on your Twitter,
Yeah.
how the Browns are in a 1 in 15 ATS spot. I
Right.
added one where it's a 1 in 19 ATS, and then I knew something was up though with that line when the number didn't move, the line didn't move, but all the
Mhm.
money seemed to be coming in on the Steelers.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, then went the opposite direction. It's like, man, something. I knew that there was red flags all over it, and my dumbass still went for it. I
Yeah.
still went and backed the
Same
Steelers
here.
and bit me in the butt. But um, I like a couple of spots this weekend. Can't wait to break it down and kind of share some thoughts with you, and
Yeah,
some
for sure.
SDQL as well. So
All right, well, let's get into it. Let's do let me share my screen here and let's dive into MLB real quick. I know you have an angle on the Mariners game. I haven't looked at that game at all. But maybe we could just dive into it and cap it together here and see if we can find another angle along with what you
all
have
right.
going on. Let's go into that Mariners game here, Royals. So we got shoot, does the Royals have a starting pitcher lined up yet? Let's see here.
I don't even know. I
Oh,
haven't seen one
Singer.
listed. This under is based on a situational spot and not so much a pitcher spot
Gotcha. All right,
because
so it looks like on so I'm looking at
I don't
Wagertalk.
show one listed right now.
Okay. I see one on Wagertalk odds page. They have Brady Singer on there. So we could dive into that just noting that he's the starter there. So we got Gonzalez here, 4.01 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. We go into the batting, or sorry, the pitching splits here. 6 and 8 on the road, 4.80 ERA here. He gets past the 5 inning mark. As far as run support, I guess it's not that great. 3.71 compared to 3.86 for the opponents. A slight lean towards the under here on the road as well. If we look at last three, 1 and 2, straight up 4.19 ERA. Going deep into these games, 6.44 innings, allowing 5 runs though. Opponents are scoring 5 runs in those games that he started in the last three. If we look at batting perspective, Mariners only hitting 229, but scoring 4.79 runs per game on the road against lefties. Royals hit lefties well at home. 271 batting average, 4.59 runs per game there. This one's a seems like a pretty tight game based on just the batting perspective. So let's go into give me the dog and let's bring in some Brady Singer stuff. While I bring that up, you want to talk about your angle on this game?
So this is what the angle actually has to do with. I'm gonna pull it up. I have two separate angles that are, the under 7.5 is triggered. Now I say that with caution because the 7.5 is also sharp. It's accurate. I don't like betting on accurate numbers. But here's the betting angle, and season to date, it is at 67% winners. It states that the home winning or the home team, the win percent is between 25 and 40%. Season to date, it's a season opener, and the visiting team win percent is no greater than 57%. And the home team is also in the AL Central. AL Central unders in this circumstance, they've been cashing just this season alone 63%. That's a 40 plus game sample size that we have. But this total is justified. It's accurate. And we have seen a lot of overs recently, but I think that there's going to be regression to the mean, but it's going to be tight. So it's not like something I'm willing to, put my money on necessarily, but it is an angle that's popped up in one trigger. And there's also a separate one that is up right now. And this one's actually triggering Detroit and the White Sox under 7 and the Mariners and Royals under 7. This has to do with series openers, sorry. And this is the same circumstance where the starting pitcher for the home team, the strikeout rate is between 23 and 30%. I'm just going off a whole bunch of numbers, but those are the only two system builds that I really have on this game that are triggering an under. But I would prefer it at 8. So this line is like really tight. I don't like that hook. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, looking at it too, it's pretty, like you said, that 7.5 is pretty tight. We're looking at Brady Singer here, in his most current form, looking at July 1st and later, 11-3 straight up, 12-2 on the run line here, whether or not he's a favorite or a dog. 9-2-3 on the first 5, a lot trending towards the under here. And if we look at the combined average score of that, what is this, 14 game sample size, 13 game sample size, 14 game sample size, that's around 7.35 here. And let's dive into it when he's at home too and see if there's a difference. 7-1 straight up, 5-0 on the full game run line. More support for the under there. This is right at the 7 run mark. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This game is so tight. Like the books really adjusted to it, but the triggers remain. They're still there. It's just, man, you're like, it's pushing it a little bit. I want 8, and I cannot find 8. So,
and then we have the Mariners as road. They're currently dogs, right? They're currently dogs.
The Mariners are dogs, yeah.
Yeah. I have a feeling we're going to have to probably look at the lineup here. But as road dogs, and then they're facing a right-handed pitcher. 13-21 straight up on the first 5, 11, 18-5. If we look at the numbers here, it's a little bit over 7.5 on the total combined. Wait a second. Why is it not popping up? Oh, that's because they don't have a pitcher yet. And let's look at low totals. So as a dog, 8-2 on the run line there. 3 that's about 7.7. This is an interesting one. Let's look at Marco Gonzalez specifically. Three and 8 straight up, 1-8-2 on the first 5 money line as a road dog, Marco Gonzalez. So that is where we're seeing some advantage there. And a full game under 7-3-1 to the under. This is about that's under 7 runs right there, or that's under 7 runs. I mean, a lot of things are pointing towards that full game under, right?
It's pointing in that direction, but I think it's just a little bit too. It's just too tight right now. I'm trying to find other angles right now. Actually, live with you.
If we go under 8, total under 8, 0-3, 3-0 to the under. Look at that average runs there. Let's see, they have the total at here. ED. Oh, they got the total at 8 on here. That's probably why it's not showing up. Okay, but it is 7.5. 8. All right, so just looking at this as a road dog, 1-8-2, what's 3-8 on the run line towards the under, and then we go back to Brady Singer. It's July. 7-1 straight up to the under. I mean, it should be Royals and the under, it looks like. First 5. What is the money line on the first 5? 71. I think the Royals, Mariners. In the first 5. I would say I might look at the first 5 run line here.
For the Royals?
For the Royals, yeah. First 5 run line for the Royals, and maybe a look towards the full game under. I know 7.5 is tight, but it looks, I mean, to me, just based off of some of these numbers here, they're around the 7 run mark. For
I do think,
and then Gonzalez is right around that 7 run mark too, right? And then if we go into it where they expect low total, they're going way under.
Yeah, that AL Central system, it's been kind of a money machine like on the season. It's just one that I've really paid attention to and kind of played here and there, but this is a spot where you want systems and trends to also agree with a model, and when you're getting 7.6 as a model number, that's like it's too accurate. That's basically what it means.
Yeah.
So overall, one of the reasons why I also wanted to stay off it is, totals less than 7.5 since the All-Star break and series openers for a team avenging a loss, and they're a favorite of less than -135. The over is actually 14-8. But that's just this season alone. But those unders, if you look at the unders in those circumstances, the Royals actually account for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those unders. So
I'm just trying to see, did the Mariners didn't clinch? No, they have not clinched yet. Okay, so they do still need this win, but they're 4 games above Orioles, so they're kind of comfortable, I guess you could say that. And then if we look at the Royals, they're just out of it. So I still like, for some reason, I still like the Royals run line. So I think I'm gonna go with the Royals run line here on the first 5. And then
to be honest, I'm gonna be
go ahead.
I'm staying off of the MLB slate as a whole. I am going to be backing and capping NFL with with you guys, but yeah, as far as systems are concerned, I have only a couple of builds, and 2 of them are triggering unders and a couple of AL Central games. So I'm sorry, just that one AL Central game, and then the White Sox as well. Those are the only 2 unders that I have that are active on my dashboard, but not a game that I have really, or either that I've really dissected. I've just been looking at capping football.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So I think for me on this one, I'm actually going to go ahead and actually play those games. Royals run line first 5. Royals full game under 7.5. I think I'm going to, especially if, I just want to double check it's Brady Singer. Yeah, it is Brady Singer. I think that's the way that I'm going to go with this one. Yeah. All right. So that's the way that I'm going to go with this one. Let's get into NFL. I know you mentioned you want to talk about NFL here. Let's do some. There it is. All right. So 2 things I want to do is I want to have you go ahead and talk about some of the angles that you want to discuss, some of the picks that you want to discuss, and then maybe do something new here and try to build a system along with the viewers here, or just between me and you, just go into building a system from scratch, kind of showing the people how to do that, and teach them, some of the thought process behind building a system or a query together. So with that said, man, go ahead and talk about a couple of the angles that you want to discuss.
I'm going to talk about one play in specific, and this is one that I kind of, that I like and I want to talk about. I like the Colts. I like the Colts this weekend. I like the plus money that we're getting on the Colts. I have a couple of systems triggers. There's a Bet Labs play on it that I have that's active. It is 15-2 ATS. For basically what it is these guys who are dogs, they're getting a lot less love from the betting community as the Colts are. So the spread percent is between 26% and 49%. This reminds me a lot of the Browns and Steelers game that we saw, where the Steelers are public dogs, but the line doesn't indicate that. It doesn't show it. But they were public dogs. This is kind of a similar case where but except Indiana is not public. They're getting 26 and 49%, but it's the same way, the same aspect, how you're thinking of that favorite as, public. They are public. The Chiefs are very public. But when the spread range is between 5.5 and 7.5 for these road dogs, for these divisional dogs, and the opponent win percent is 90 to 100%. So this indicates early season fades. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they've won both of their games to start the season. These teams are actually 15-2 ATS. Another angle that I want to drop for the viewers here is divisional favorites coming off of a non-divisional game. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. This is actually the wrong trend. That has to do with the Colts and Titans for the following week. But let me pull up this. I have another one that is actually supportive of the Colts that I want to talk about really quick. Give me 1 second while I pull up this trend really quick. All right, so non-divisional dogs of fewer than 7.5 points in the first 3 weeks of the season following a loss. They're a perfect 12-0 ATS since the 2018 season, with closing totals of at least 50. So this right here is giving me more indication of a Colts play. They covered the last meeting against the Chiefs. This right here, it reminds me of a letdown spot. Yes, the Chiefs have momentum, but are they going to keep that momentum all season long? Are they going to go 16-0? You have to find regression spots, and this is one of those regression spots where I'm willing to play the dog. And I've been pretty vocal about it on Twitter, where I said the Colts might just win outright, because this is the spot. Like, the Chiefs they don't need this game. The Colts need it more than the Chiefs do at this point. So I'm going to go contrary to the public. I'm taking the Colts this week. And this is a spot where the Colts were upwards of about 7-point dogs. So right now we're seeing the line come in a little bit, but give me the Colts. And I want to talk about that.
Is this
Go
right?
ahead, Ronald.
Is this right? Non-divisional dog line is less than 7.5, right? Or is that the other way around?
Non-divisional dogs are fewer than 7.5 points in the first 3 weeks of the season.
Oh yeah, and just early in the season, right? And then they're coming off of a loss.
Hold on 1 second. Non-divisional dogs are fewer than 7.5 in the first 3 weeks of the season following a loss with since the 2018 season. Uh-oh.
Let's see that.
Here, I'm gonna send you this screenshot that I have.
Okay.
This is what my trend looks like. That's weird that it's showing it up like that for you, but I sent it in right now.
Was it on Killer?
Yeah, I'm on Killer Sports as well.
Okay. All right, let's see. Oh, okay, less than.
Because your trend looks right, but less than or equal to 7.5.
So non-divisional, coming off a loss, total Great. Oh, that's the other way around. That's why. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Totals of
I thought you
50.
said at least 50. All right. So yeah, that's going toward it's 50 and a half. Is that line going, is that total going down? Let's see.
I would also lean the under in that game too, but for trend purposes, this is an ATS play, not really an over under
Yeah,
look. But
got you. Okay, now that makes more sense. Okay. So 12-0 against the spread here, 5.5 points. Man, seven would have been nice.
yeah, 7 would have been nice.
So here's one that I want to share as well with you guys. This is one that I've been using for a while. So this is just teams coming off of a loss as a favorite, and now they're a road favorite, and they're going into a non-divisional game. So they're not looking ahead or anything like that. They're just, it's not a key game, right? So they're not in a look ahead spot. This is pointing towards the Ravens and the Bengals. One thing to note though is that current form, and so sometimes I like to sit and watch to see if that's the trajectory of where the trend or the system might be going. And you don't want to continue following a trend that's going in the wrong direction, right? Because we talk about this a lot. YBB trends aren't bets, right? We're not blind tailing trends because they look good, or we're not saying, or trends basically are what they are, right? They're made to end at some point, right?
Right.
So that's one thing to note here, but it is pointing towards the Ravens and the Bengals. So that's one thing that has been successful for me in previous years. And so far this year, just 1-0, only one game so far. This one's kind of I don't know if I would call it, I would kind of call it fluky because this wasn't Dak on here, right? I feel like Bengals kind of overlooked Cooper Rush here, and then pretty much just didn't show up. So that's how I thought that game went. It's sort of, I talked to Austin Wang about this, sort of like the injured player theory in the NBA. When a player goes away, a key player goes away, next thing you know, the bench and the other players just step up a little bit defensively and offensively. So that's the way that I was looking at that game. Hopefully this trend continues to go in the direction that it has been in the last few years. But definitely a look towards the Ravens and the Bengals there. Other than that, let's try to build something. What was that?
I was going to say, one thing worth noting on these trends, a lot of them, you're right. You don't want to play trends because they look good. That was what I did last night, which was a rookie mistake. I'm not a Browns believer, but trends are good for observational purposes. You always want to study them and, save them to see how they do. And so this system that you have right now going on, that's a good one. I mean, it hasn't been good lately. Like, you were pointing out the recent regression, but all these trends that we provide, they're, observations. They're key points for us to use and study and build off of when we are trying to make picks and predictions for certain games. So that's a solid share right there.
I recommend too, when you build these queries, it has to make sense, right? Like, yeah, it has to logically make sense.
Yeah.
The team coming off as a favorite, as a loss as a favorite, is basically just saying, it's a bounce back spot. Now they're a favorite on the road. So that means that the opponent is probably not a strong opponent, right? Because if you're a road favorite here, and then going into a non-divisional game, it's not a key game. You're not looking ahead or anything like that. So you should be able to focus in on the current game. So that was my thought process here. When building it. So yeah. And then
they should be for resources only, like resources and for basically like your study points, but you should never bet solely based on because a trend looks good. I 100% agree with what you said there.
Exactly. And then and it's a lot of support for other capping too. Like you just want to make sure you do more than just trends. You want to look at the data as far as like you can just go to NFL.com or MLB.com, whatever sport you're capping, and you get the information there as far as stats and data. You also have to have it pass the eye test. You know what I mean? You got to watch these games. You can't just blindly do it as far as just I mean, if you're doing it this way and you're not watching the games and things like that, you're pretty much just data mining at that point. And really, sports betting and handicapping isn't data mining, right? It's not just that. It has to be a combination of multiple things. So when building, so actually let's get into that query building. YBB, I'm pretty excited about this part. We can try to build something from scratch here. And is there some
Cool.
is there some parameter that you use consistently as far as a starting point when building a query?
For NFL, I like to look at divisional matchups. That's one of my favorite things to look at. How a
Okay.
team did before going into a divisional matchup. Did they lose? Did they win?
Yeah.
The divisional games are key games in NFL. Because that's where playoff seeding comes into play. So I like to look at divisional games, and that's one of my favorite things. And also revenge factors as well.
One thing I want to add to that too is
Go ahead.
the season parameter. I like to look at 2018, 2017 and greater for the most part to start off. And then if something looks good, I like to look, I'll take that parameter out and see how it did prior. The reason behind that is because of how much the offense has changed since the new generation of quarterbacks came out and the offenses have started to really put up a lot of points, right? In the NBA, you have the Steph Curry era, right? He changed the game with a 3-pointer. You kind of got to use that parameter, the season parameter there, when that started as your starting point. So for me, it's like the Pat Mahomes era and stuff like that. That's where I feel like the offenses started to change. So I like to use
The new
2018
generation
as that starting
I like
parameter.
that. That's a good starting point.
Yeah, so I like to use 2018 as a starting parameter, and let's look at division, and maybe we look at. I think you brought up revenge game, right?
Yeah,
So,
revenge games. Maybe even so, like divisional favorites. So I had one that was on double revenge games for divisional favorites. So, for instance, the Giants are in a divisional game against the Cowboys this Monday, but they lost the last 2 meetings, and now they're divisional favorites. And these guys haven't really been so hot against the spread. So what I have on these guys is since 2021, actually, these divisional dogs of fewer than 6. I like to look at key numbers as well too, because when you're getting 7, you're talking about a whole touchdown. So these divisional dogs of fewer than 6 that have back-to-back wins over their opponent. So this would be like for the Cowboys, previous win, previous win.
Okay. And they're the favorite?
No, well, the Cowboys are the dog. I think they're at Pick'em now. There's money coming in on the Cowboys, but I mean, you could write it the other way too. It doesn't really matter. Previous L, previous L, divisional favorite. They haven't really been, too hot against the spread, but this line is moving a little bit too much. Now you're at a Pick'em. So if you like either side of the spectrum, I mean, you're pretty much getting decent value.
So I was just looking at it. So we have a team.
Look at So since 2018, 71%. That's solid.
Yeah, I think the last 2 though lost here. So Saints, but it's the Steelers too. Man, look at 2021. That's just crazy. You know how much money you would have won with the 2020 using this during 2021?
Yeah, 2021. That was my study point.
So we got Cowboys. That's on Monday at +1. And you said it's moving to. All right, so yes, +1. Dang, they moved a lot. So Cowboys on Monday. Let's do primetime game. Let's see how it does on Mondays. Just like keep. See there. that kind of switches it up, right? Because if you look at key games, or not key games, but like primetime games, it sort of switches. Well, not switches, but it's not as significant, right? Yeah.
Man, I can't even be confident in primetime games moving forward. Like, be
Yeah.
like
So all right.
cautious.
So
I do have a bet on the Cowboys at +3, but
yeah. All right. So look at this, like from an overall perspective, right? 38-15-1, 71.7%. And if we look at these primetime games, oops, they're 4-6 against the spread there. So these primetime games are
they're
less.
1-9 straight up. Jesus,
Yeah.
God.
See, that's one thing that we should have probably looked at with the Steelers and Browns is diving into a little bit further. So that would take the Cowboys away from this trend, right? Can you do not in?
Yeah, I still played them at the +3, but that's a little bit concerning right there.
And day not equals Thursday. Right? Did that make sense? It still got Thursday and Monday on there.
Damn.
Right,
Bro, those
so
primetime red flags are
those
real.
primetime games, we gotta get those out of there when we look at these queries. Do they have Sunday night football? Let's see. No, they don't. Okay.
Speaking of primetime red flags, I'm on an island here when I say I like the Broncos to beat the 49ers.
What? I don't have I don't have an angle on that game, but I told Austin that I didn't want to touch any Broncos games for a while. We'll see. All right, well,
I mean,
yeah.
no. I'm not going to touch it, but if this line keeps going in my favor, I will.
Yeah. All right, well, I mean, at least we have a query here. I like this query. I didn't have this prior to. Let's see how it did prior to 2018. Oh, see, there's that 4-8, 10-6, 8-5. So a little bit 15, 16-15. 11-6 to the over last year. Well, I mean, to me, it seems like a pretty good angle as far as just the thought process behind it, right? Divisional game, won twice in a row. They probably just own that team. Could be. Dog.
I kind of want to see what 3 is like now because
What do you mean?
it's going to be a tight game, is what it's indicating.
So line less than 3 makes it even tighter, 58.1%. So you got that there's that sweet spot. Where it's like 6.
Okay, let's see.
There's that sweet spot between 6 and 3. That's 28, 6 and 1 against the spread. These guys fucked it up. But if we take out Thursday and Monday, shit was probably rocking. Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm about to save this trend. Let me take that out though.
I got a few trends for you to save, to be honest, but a lot of them, like, we're gonna have to wait for them to be active. We're only on week 3, so there has to be situations where these trends do become active. Like I have one that's indicating a Titans play this weekend, but it's so early in the season for this to really be confident in the Titans. But what the trend is Let me pull this one up really quick. But home dogs following a road loss and facing a non-divisional opponent they previously recorded 100 plus more yards against. They're 17-4 ATS. So the Titans did, they recorded a lot of yards against the Raiders in their last meeting. So but this line again, this is one that's kind of been a little bit indicative. I believe it moved because when I first did this query, it was at +3. I don't know what the line currently stands at, but that's been a 17-4 ATS system that I've been wanting to pay attention to. The Titans for me this week, they are going to be a observational game. This is not a play. Again, not all trends are plays, but it's something to keep an eye on. And then another one that I want to talk about is when you see like quarterbacks and they regress. Like, let's talk about Kirk Cousins. How many interceptions did he throw? Like at least 3, right? So there's this. Yeah. Well, I have a system on that too. These divisional favorites following a loss as a dog in which they threw at least 3 interceptions. They are just 1-12 ATS. And this goes for the Lions. Or this is good for the Lions +6 and the Panthers +3 as Jameis Winston also threw a plethora of interceptions last Sunday. So these are trends that I like to pay attention to where the market tries to correct and comes up a little bit short. And to be honest, the Lions they have a pretty sneaky offense too. So that's a game that's a little bit sneaky in my opinion. I think there's going to be a lot of Vikings love because of the loss. And I think that people, I consider them a chase bet this weekend, but I don't know, man. That's one of the trends that I want to pay attention to. We're going to get a lot of quarterbacks throwing for at least 3 interceptions, I feel like, this season. So, again, we are just in week 3. We got to understand we have a whole season ahead of us. So, I think as soon as like week 5 to week 8, there's going to be a sweet spot there in divisional games. But right now, it's all a lot of observations.
Yeah.
A lot less action. So,
makes sense. So this one is I don't know if this was the exact query that you brought up, but divisional favorites. Previous game they threw for 3 interceptions plus 5-12 against the spread in the next game. So that's pointing towards Lions and Panthers. Is that right?
That's since when?
2018. Let me bring that back.
Oh yeah. So like since 2018, but like following a loss as a dog, where they didn't cover the spread either. They just didn't even show up. But remember, the Vikings they were public dogs as well, and the Eagles just blew them out of the water. That's what I have to get a better grip of on primetime games. These public dogs, they're just baiting me. 1-10 ATS. That is.
So that's 2017. If we go back 2018, 0-8. Let's just go back further. And it goes back pretty far. You can go back to 2010 on this and be profitable. But 2018, for like I mentioned earlier, I feel like that's like the spot that we want to stick.
Yeah, that's the key spot. What if they were just coming off of a game as a dog and without the loss parameter?
Oh, just one game added.
Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. That didn't fix anything at all.
Loss as a dog. And let's see. Losing by an average, that's a pretty strong. Here's one that's pretty tight. Half point, 1.5. Other than that, dude, it's pretty strong as far as like the margin, ATS margin. It's not a big sample size though, because they were going back to 2018, only 8 games.
Yeah, if you want to look at 2018, you're going to need to pull up a lot more recent. Maybe you can even include 2 interceptions then, because 3 interceptions is, that's asking for you're doing it on purpose at that point.
Let's look at that too. So it's still pretty good. 9-19. We start to get a few games from last year, and if we look at from season, profitable every season. And that's one thing too that I want to see, consistent percentage throughout each year.
Right.
Oh shit, what the hell is that? Oh.
Yeah, 2 interceptions is a little bit more understandable. 3 is kind of pushing it. That's kind of you're You would hope that the Vikings bounce back this week.
Yeah, you can go back even further. So 17 was 2-2, 2016 0-3, 2-4. I like it. These are like, man, I don't know who's watching, but these are just like little nuggets here and there that could just help you get pointed in the right direction as far as like identifying games that you can find a profitable edge, and then you kind of just dive into that separately with the data aspect of it, or the stats part of it, right?
Mostly just target points. Target points for a lot of the viewers they can cap themselves. They can go to these websites that we're providing them. Start your system and observe it. We are resources. We don't ever place bets for you guys. It's just resourcing.
Yeah.
Tonight, actually, I'm gonna be going. Right after this show, I'm gonna go to San Antonio, and I'm gonna be doing a live stream I'm gonna do a deeper dive into the NFL slate, what I like, where the market's at,
Game by game,
angles. What's that?
Yeah, every single game.
I might. I don't know. I'm gonna see like because I don't have a very strong opinion on every single game. I have a strong opinion on a select few, but I also had a strong opinion last night. I don't even want to talk about that though. That was frustrating. I faded my own model and I went with trends, and that's the most rookie mistake you can ever do.
Yeah, me and Austin was talking about that because we're partnered on the Circa, right? And we were talking about how there's a lot of games that we see a lot of trends on, but if it doesn't match up with both of our models, then we don't want to mess with it.
You don't want to touch it, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like a lesson learned. But moving forward, I have strong opinions on some of the games for this week. I'm going to be talking to one of my partners. I'm going to provide a link too in the group chat if you guys want to stop by, give a breakdown on either y'all's favorite game or whatever. I'm going to go over 3 games specifically that I like, and then I'm going to have my partner also go over 3 games. And
I have a Sportsmemo NFL show coming up at 1:00 p.m. and we're breaking down 3 games there. So cool. We're doing that too. What games are you guys talking about?
Hopefully we align. Well, there's a couple of games. So like Commanders versus Eagles, that's one I'm going to be touching on.
Yeah. Commanders Eagles.
I touched on one here in the chat with the
Colts.
The Colts, yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Colts, and I'm also going to be going with the Dolphins. Those are games that I want to talk about. Dolphins and Bills.
What? Right. We're going to talk about the Dolphins too in that other show. So we'll see if we line up there. I don't have a strong opinion on that one. They kind of like ask us to talk about games, but those Dolphins is one that I'm probably not going to put my own money on. But I love giving information out there as far as like what I see. It's just really hard, especially with how these 2 young quarterbacks are playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to put your money on it. Probably one of the best games to watch this week, but
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
But these are spots where there's like when you're starting a season 2-0, you got a divisional game. You're on a short week at that. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's something about this game that I just, I really like I like the Dolphins here. And that same system that I brought up earlier in the show, that 15-2 ATS system, is actually active for the Dolphins as well. So
actually, let's look at that. That kind of interests me because
this is the Action Lab systems that I have that I sent you. Yeah, that's
I'm looking at what you were saying about the short week, right? P day equals Monday, and day equals Sunday.
And also, the Bills, they've recorded 30+ points in back-to-back games.
Yeah, their offense is legit. Both of these guys' offense is legit, but I think to me it seems like the Bills' defense is pretty good. The thing about Miami though, they're kind of one-sided, right? They're getting the yards through the air, not on the ground. So Buffalo is just gonna have to,
I
make
think they
them.
can adapt though. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I do think that the line at 5.5 is sharp, but I've seen it up to like 7. When during the week, that's whenever you can target the biggest line movements
Yeah.
and attack line. But like at closing, it's pretty much sharp and set.
Well, we'll see. I don't have a very confident angle on this one, but I'll be talking about it later. All right. Well, man, do you want? So we're probably. I thought we were gonna be a short show today, but it ended up being 45 minutes. You want to drop any official plays or anything like that?
The only official play that I'm on, like that I mean that I'm actually on a couple of them, but most of them are just kind of 0.5 unit stabs and stuff. But
Yeah.
one that I'll give out right now is Colts. I really like the Colts. I think that they might even win outright. Again, this is an unpopular take. I'm coming fresh off a loss, backing the Steelers, but I like every angle that I have for the Colts this weekend. They are also on a dud against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like the spot. I think this is a prime spot for the Colts. And I'm going to be following the sharp action this week. And so I feel like the Colts is the side. So that would be my play that I would give out right now. I'm going to do a deeper dive later on tonight. But yeah, that's it. That's all I
Yeah,
have.
I'll try to pop into that. You already sent the link right to the group chat.
Not yet. I'm gonna set
So,
up in San Antonio. I got about a 3 or 4 hour drive
what
ahead
are
of
you
me.
doing in San Antonio? You got to meet up with someone?
Well, my friend got a house, so it's like a little housewarming thing, and so we're
I got
gonna
you.
go check it
You can
out.
just sit up at a housewarming?
No. I'm gonna set up at a hotel. I won't be staying
Oh,
there.
okay. I was
At
gonna
a
say.
hotel.
All right.
I
All
just,
right.
I'm gonna go drop in and say, congrats, basically. That's it. But yeah, I'm gonna set up at the hotel and do a live stream.
All right, dope. All right. Well, for me, we looked real briefly into that Royals Mariners game. I'm liking the Royals first 5 in the full game under 7.5. As far as NFL goes, what do I want to? I got a whole bunch of notes. I could talk about some of the circa plays that me and Austin dropped, and one of them that I really liked was actually the Bengals. It was -5 when we were talking about it, but now it's like -6. I dropped one of the queries that supported the Bengals earlier, so that's probably one of my favorite plays of the week.
I have them
Um,
in a survivor pool, so
all right, perfect.
I'm
I
with
like
you
it.
guys there. If they lose this game, that's it.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
off
mean, to me, yeah, no, to me, I knew Bengals were gonna take a step down this season. I mean, that was my take on it, but they gotta win this one.
Yeah, this is
They-
this is their this is their time.
Yeah.
Cool. I
Uh,
like the alignment. I'll tune into your other show.
yes, sir.
Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully, next week we get either Austin or SoCal with us. But yeah, man, this is the end of the show, guys. Thanks to all who tuned in on YouTube and on Twitter. If you are on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button before you bounce. Make sure you check out the links in the description as well. And as always, I have to end with this. Please remember, whether you fade us or follow us, it's on you to make that call. Good luck on all your action. Till next time. Peace.
Later, y'all.